All right, Jared. Like I was just saying, really excited for this. Been a year since I met you, but wanted to get you on the show for a while. And I'm glad we made this work and that you made the drive down and
Yeah.
added to your mileage for the month or the year. But yeah, welcome here.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we slid in at 5,000 miles in the last 2 weeks out to Oregon. So I decided, what's another 1,400? Let's do it.
Damn. Describe what you're doing in Oregon. Tell us what you're doing out there.
Man, we had the Pacific Northwest Lineman Rodeo in Portland, and I'd never been up there at all. And our buddy Andrew Morris with Line Roots, he called me and he's like, "Man, I know you're not doing anything. Come to this rodeo like you've told me for the last 3 years." And I've always had to kind of stand him up because it's hunting season or something's going on. I'm like, all right, but I'll be there. And he's like, "Man, fly into this airport and meet me here." And got to thinking, I'm like, man, I don't feel like messing with the airport really. I'm going to drive out there. So one of my best friends from my little hometown, I know he's usually pretty free too, and I called him up and he went with me. We made a pretty cool circle out of it. Did a bunch of exploring in the mountains, and we got some enduro bikes we brought. I think we put about 500 miles on them on the way out there, and we didn't have our wives with us, so we was just as free as it gets. Like, we didn't know what state we were staying in. Sometimes at dark that night, like where we're staying, well, the closest hotel is 2.5 hours away. Let's go there. And so we kind of a pretty cool trip, but we wound up at Portland, Oregon, went to the Lime Rodeo, met a lot of guys. Something that was cool to me, a bunch of PG&E guys were out there and different power companies. And of course I had all my tools set up in Andrew's booth, and I got to meet a lot of guys that already had a bunch of my tools. And that's kind of a new feeling for me. But when you're showing a guy a new tool and he's like, "You mean like this one?" Like, yeah, I got every one of those in my bucket. I mean, I wanted to hug grown men. Like, that's the biggest compliment I guess a tool guy could have. Somebody that's trying to introduce new tools is meeting guys in those positions that believe in them. But rodeo was cool. There's some real linemen out there. I watched, they do a lot of hot sticking. In my world, we don't. So I realized that I'm not a hot sticking lineman. I'm never going to take a storm call to go up there.
No?
They'd run me off the pole, man. Them guys are doing stuff with sticks. That's its own craft.
Yeah. That's the world I grew up in. You can't put me in a set of gloves. I wouldn't know what to do.
These guys didn't have but one set of gloves on the whole crew, like rubber gloves. Yeah. And they're like, "We leave them in the truck. We don't need them up there."
Yeah, no. Only I pulled those out to switch. That was about it. Or, you pull them out when you need to bump a sleeve in quick when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Don't say that out loud too out loud, but yeah.
I'd watched a few of them run up the pole, and they have a whole bunch of different stations set up at the rodeo. And what I realized I would have messed up on first is I'd have climbed way too high up the pole to run the stick. In my world, you got to get up to the crossarm to work on primary. Better stop around the neutral down there. Anyway, I learned a lot just watching those guys. Of course, they're fast. It's all timed and stuff, but that's quite the operation, and it goes for a good cause. It goes all that stuff. I think proceeds go to a burn unit that helps a bunch of linemen. So they had a big auction. It's fun. I think it's like 17th year they've done that. I'm never going to miss another one, man.
It's big then? Like,
I consider it big. I don't know as far as like numbers compared to like Kansas City.
Sure.
But
I mean,
it felt like it was 40 acres of cool stuff going on, and the auction was so they give out beer most of the day there, and they have that auction at the sunset. That way, there's a lot of bidding going on.
They know how it works. Know how it works.
There was some coolers going for like $4,000, but
I need that cooler. It's the new
exciting.
Yeti color. Yeah,
it's exciting to be there, and I almost wish it would have been 2 days. It was just a 1 day deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, it goes fast like the good times do, man.
Yeah.
But I'll go every year, whether Andrew wants me there or not. Man, I'm gonna make it.
I've been to the Lineman, the International, 5 or 6 times now. Going back again this year, but I've only been to really one other kind of like bigger rodeo, I guess you'd call it, and it was in Indiana. Yeah, Indiana, Whiskey City Rodeo, and it was pretty cool. Back when I went to it, they mixed a bull riding event with a lineman rodeo. So it was kind of neat. So like at the same time, right, almost in the same grounds was the poles for the lineman rodeo, and then there was a bull riding event, like a professional bull riding event going on beside it, right? So you could watch some of the lineman rodeo if you're a guest, or you could go watch the bull riding. And then for the main event, so it all comes down to the end of the day in the main event. Well, the main bull riding event, they set up a row of poles in front of the grandstands, like between the grandstands and the bull riding arena, and they ran the main event. They called it mutual aid event. So they took one person from every team, from every lineman team, and they made 5 teams out of it. And then they took one bull rider and put one bull rider on every team, and then they ran an event. And that the bull rider's job was to close the switch with a 40-foot lineman at the end of the event. And that ended the thing, right? That ended time. So we had to go up and change some switches or something on the cross arm. That's what the lineman had to do. And so you get the lineman and the groundman, and that's what the lineman had to do. And then at the very end, you had to get that bull rider with that 40-foot stick, and nobody could help him. He had to get it in there and close the cutout, and that kind of ended it. It was a blast. So you had the grandstands were like, the cool part about it was the grandstands were full. You know, like, and when has a lineman ever had like grandstands full of people watching them compete?
No.
They got to feel kind of like what an athlete feels. Like, it was super cool. It was like good energy, good vibe. And then right after that, they ran the final bull riding event. And I just thought, like, that was a freaking slick way to like end a lineman rodeo. I just thought it was like so cool. It was a good vibe.
I'm feeling anxious for the bull rider that had to run that long stick.
Yeah, no, it was good
in front of anybody.
It was hilarious, man. Everyone's just laughing, and that stick's like waving.
That's pretty sharp.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sounds like a tough parking lot to hang out in after the fact. Probably.
Yeah, it's definitely
tough
humbling
crowd
too,
there.
right? Especially bull riders, like the freaking bull riders, right? Like, they tons of ego there, just like linemen, but humbled pretty quick when they had to run a 40-foot stick.
Oh, 40-foot stick will have you getting back in the truck, man.
Yeah.
That's when no wind. That's when. Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, it was a quiet, calm, still day, so it was good.
It'd be cool to see that. We need to figure out how to integrate some other things.
Yeah.
In the lineman rodeo. I don't know who to talk to about that.
Yeah, like, imagine like an official like PBR event. Like, I just thought, because who doesn't like watching bull riding, right? And then especially if you're in the lineman community, like, it was so cool. Like, it was just such a cool way to, like, because everyone was there to, like, they'll stay to watch the final event because of the bull riding, because they held the bull riding main event after. So they're all there. You got everybody in the grandstands. Like, there was probably 1,000 people in those grandstands, which is pretty cool to sit and watch like a bunch of linemen.
Do they still do that?
I don't think they do it anymore. No, they might run the rodeo still, like the lineman portion, but I don't think they mix the bull riding event in there still.
Be hard to maintain a drop zone with a Brangus bull running around.
Yeah, that'd be even better, right? Let the bulls loose in the arena while you're.
Yeah, I've built a lot of jobs in hayfields that had bulls in them, and you got to keep an eye on stuff. That's just normal life where I live. You got to understand. I think every line crosses a cattle field at least twice. Yeah, where I'm at. So.
Yeah, and you don't see them until you see them.
Oh no, it's good when the homeowner kind of warns you. Hey, there's a bull out here. He should leave you alone. End the conversation.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's going to dent your truck and knock your pole off the stand. It's going to be a problem.
So where are you from?
North Arkansas, man. A little town. The town I graduated high school from is called Flippin. And you got to zoom way in on a map to find it. But it's going to be home to me until I'm dead up there in the mountains, man. It's a pretty low populated area. A lot of rivers and lakes we spend most of our life on. A lot of national forest. I've been with my wife since 2005. Got a little girl. It's 11 now. Today's her first day of school. I'm missing that for you. That's my commitment to the Fireline podcast, man. I had to live through a picture this morning. Spent most of my life working for utility. I started putting in underground in about 2004. And from there I went to be a heavy equipment operator for that same utility. And pretty soon I got to go to, get in the apprenticeship and go to their climbing school. And worked there till 2020, and since 2020 I've been on the outside of the union. That utility was kind of like an inside local, like a utility local union. But transferred my ticket, and I worked for a utility contractor from 2020 till a year ago full time as a line crew foreman, and now I just chase storms and invent tools, man. That's what keeps my head going. Started my tool company in January of 22, I think is when it was formed. And it's hard to believe this is the true math, but out of all the tools I've released, it equals out to one new tool a month. since January of 22 that I've released new inventions. And my list never ends. I don't have enough life left to release all the tools that I have on my list, stuff. But that's staying hooked up. And like I said, I still chase storms. I still cannot wait for Jim Cantori to pop out on the beach somewhere with a live show of this new storm that's forming. It's pretty exciting still for me. I don't know if I ever get over that.
Yeah.
But the little town I live in, there's nothing they would be known for other than I think they make bass boats, Ranger bass boats. They make them there.
He has a good thing to be known for.
Yeah, it's cool. I think the town wouldn't exist without that boat plant. But pretty low population, man. But it's simple life, and there's something to be said for that for sure. When me and my wife sold our last house, it's been 10 years ago now. We bought a new farm, but when we sold our house, we realized we didn't have any keys to our house to give to the people that bought it, and we lived out in the country, but we had to buy new doorknobs just so we could have keys to give the new people.
No shit.
We didn't lock our doors. Like I haven't took my.
That's
keys
almost
out
unheard of nowadays, right? Like.
Yeah. Yeah, you can leave. It's just a. There's no trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not fenced in down there.
You're only the second person I know from Arkansas, actually.
Both of us then, man.
Oh, do you know Madison Jefferson?
I have to.
No, he's a good dude. I like Matty. Man, there's so much to unpack there. I love the story. It seems like a lot of great linemen come from small towns. Is there like something there? Like, what do you think about small towns and producing good hands?
So there is a geographical anomaly of this town, and it's called Prim, Arkansas. PRIM. It's down by Mountain View, and if there's 20 houses there, I'm telling you, 20 of them are owned by linemen, and some of them didn't know the other ones existed because nobody's ever off the same hitch at the same time. But as time falls out there, I know a lot of them. But Prim, Arkansas has got something, and it wasn't because there's a nice school there or something. But everybody that lives in that little town is a lineman, and I don't know what else you do. I don't know. There may be a sawmill down there or a blacksmith shop or something, but my good friends in my little hometown that I worked with for years, they're linemen. Like I said, there's a boat factory to choose from, or of course, the oil field's always there for some guys or military. They knew they wanted to work outside and with their hands, and the apprenticeship looked pretty appealing to them. And you test it out, and if you enjoy it, and you stick with it, and that's how it went. I'm a second generation lineman. My dad was a lineman for 38 years. And most of my life, I didn't want to be a lineman because he was on call my whole life, and I never heard any good. He didn't come home telling me anything that sounded good, and he was just always at work and angry when he wasn't, because work could get you fed up pretty quick. But that's he was my ticket in. He just knew the right person that kind of threw me a bone at a young age and got me on a crew, and I earned my keep since then. But I'm not arrogant enough to think that. How having one person behind the scenes can help you. That would be my dad. And to pay that forward, I've helped a lot of guys. I drove 10 hours yesterday, a little over 10 hours, and I'm telling you, I spent 3 hours on the phone helping strangers. And both with line work and the tool companies. Some guys, some California guys have invented some line tools, and I'm coaching them, getting them hooked up with my insurance people and patent attorneys. And anyway, I know how it helps. I try to be the guy that I wish I had in situations the older I get. So if you look out for opportunities to help people, you'll find it.
Yeah.
If a phone call can help this guy, let's do it,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm a second generation lineman as well. And I agree with you. It was never something I wanted to do growing up because you see, mom and dad had to do what they did to support the family. Dad owned a power line company, and mom and dad, actually, mom worked in it just as hard as dad did, just doing different things. But yeah, watching that process, he was always, had to be gone. He never was like out of town working because it was enough work locally at that time to support, but local meaning like he'd have to drive 2.5, 3 hours west to go work in some like nowhere place, and so he'd always be home late, and back was always broken and foot was broken, or like I don't know, man, he worked hard. Like,
it's a tough life.
It's tough blue collar life. So like growing up, I remember Mom always asking me, "Do you want to be a lineman? Do you want to do this?" And I was always like, "Shit, no!" Like, no. Like, it was a straight no. Like, I don't want to do that. That is not the life for me. I don't want to do that. And one day, a foreman that was working for my old man kind of like pulled me aside one day. I was like 19. I was finishing high school. I didn't know what I was going to go into. I kind of wanted to go into like graphic design or something, like something creative.
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside and like, if he could have slapped me, he would. Like, I swear his arm was raised. Like, and he's like, "Do you realize the opportunity that you're missing by like not taking advantage of your father with the ability to get you into this trade?" He's like, how fucking old are you?
Yeah, gotta miss the boat.
I'm like, "Oh, I'll be 20 in a few months." And he's like, "So do this, and by the time you're 24, you've got a ticket that you can go anywhere in the world with, and you can go do whatever the fuck you want to do, but you've got something."
Yep.
He's like, "Just go home and think about it." And so anyway, that was one of my smartest decisions ever, was going home and thinking and choosing. Okay. I came back the next day. "Okay, Dad, I think, can you help me do this? I'll do this." And yeah, so like you said, there's a foot in the door. I've paid my dues since. I put my boots on every day, 6 a.m, and earned my keep. And just like you, like I've given back through multiples of different ways. It's tough though when you got like, when somebody helps you in like that, you have to earn it after. Like, and that's like the biggest disappointment, is when somebody doesn't earn it themselves after, and they just like expect, I don't know, just take it the other direction. And for me, it was always like, I gotta earn this, right? Like, I gotta spend every day now understanding what I was given and try to earn it.
Yeah. Now it's kind of spooky to think about if you'd have took another road.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 40 now. So I'm all the roads that I've taken till now, I'm thankful that that's the directions I went.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about hanging a hard left somewhere back when you was 19 and going somewhere else. Your whole life would look different. And it's weird to think about. You'd have all different friends. You know where you live. But anyway, we all the way to where you're sitting today. You know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that you had somebody about to slap you.
Yeah. Yeah. He ended up a great mentor. He was my foreman after, like, he was my first foreman, and we spent a lot of time working together, because like I just went to work for my old man, and so I just essentially went to work for him. It was a small outfit, like 2 crews max for years. And yeah, he was a good mentor.
Was you guys just building a new line?
Yeah, it just kind of whatever we could do locally. And then what was cool about that time and that era, like this is early 2000s, right? Like I topped out in 2004, so this was like early 2000s. There was, in British Columbia now, like in Canada now, it's really hard for small contractors to start up. Like, you basically can't. The way the utility owns most of the power line in British Columbia, the way they've regionalized it, they've really just given it to big contractors, essentially. Like, unless you're a big contractor, you don't get work. And if you're a small contractor, you just do little things like private property stuff or pole holds, or like nothing like
hard to generate
big
revenue.
But back in the day, there was a bunch of smaller outfits, and you kind of like stuck to your local area unless there was some sort of a bigger project. But then you would actually team up. So you'd get 2 or 3 of these small contractors, and one of them would go like, "Hey, I got a bunch of blocks. Hey, I got some stringing gear. Hey, I got," and you go like, "Okay, let's form a little partnership for this project," and you gang up on it, and but it was really cool to do that, right? And then after the project was over, you'd all split ways again and take your piece of whatever it was that you negotiated as part of the, and it worked, right? But you can't do that anymore. It's just the big guys got it now.
Yeah, that'd be a tough dirt road tailgate contract to sign now.
Yeah.
Try to split 3 ways.
Yeah.
It'd be something. Most of my career in North Arkansas was building new single phase. You know, the company I worked for, we wouldn't do our in-house reconducts because we just didn't have enough men. That's all there is to it. You know, you couldn't keep the lights on because a normal day at a utility, we did our own underground. We covered underground and overhead. So you'd load up 3 poles in a pot and some one-aught on the way out the gate and stop somewhere and get lunch, and you're headed out to where there's not even cell phone service. Build a job. If the radio would work, there'd be a bad underground come in at 2, and you're going an hour and a half the other way to thump some primary. You know, and that was his normal life. But I didn't get to do any real reconduct until I left utility and went to a reconduct crew. It's 2 different lives, you know.
Yep.
2 different, and I've worked with some great linemen on reconduct crews. That's a craft in itself.
It is a craft in itself. So it's fun too.
Oh, it's fast paced,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It'd be 2 o'clock in the evening before you realize it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And anyways, it's fun. It's a fun deal. There were some days that when it's 102 and you've been on the same job for a month and a half and you know the next 5 holes are rock. I'm like, I would really like to go pull in some underground somewhere in another county just for today, you know.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's a good time, and I can't imagine not going back to that. If I was going to go back to a line crew, I think I'd go back to where I come from and get back to grinding rock holes in North Arkansas, worrying about the bull that's running around in the field.
Do you ever get reached out online from like younger guys asking you, you know, like advice for getting into the trade, or guys struggling getting in? Do you ever give advice to these guys?
Yeah. So part of the conversations I had yesterday, complete strangers, guys that, and I'm thankful that whoever gave them my number knew that I was that guy that I would talk. Because one of the guys called me and he's like, man, he kind of broke up me. He told me who gave him my number. I didn't hear what he said, but I didn't want to be rude and make him repeat it. I talked to him for an hour, and I still have no idea who gave him my number, but he's wanting to know. And I give him the 2 options. I give him the non-union side and union side. I'm talking to a 19-year-old that needs to hear both sides of the story.
Absolutely.
And that's up to him. And try to find his strengths. I'm trying to find if he knew anybody, honestly. Like, who do you know? And he knew one person that worked for a non-union contractor. Like, you need to get a hold of that guy. I can help you sign the books anytime you want and walk you through that and help you get on as a groundman. I know those people. You're going to be working with guys you don't know, and it's going to take a little bit of time. But if you need to go to work Monday, call a guy you know. And I think that's what he did. But I will spend all the time I got helping young guys. And, you know, they're kind of hesitant to call. You can hear it in their voice that they feel like they're taking up your time that you don't have. And so I'll spend first half conversation letting them know that I'm happy they called. But as far as reaching out online, I have had people do that, but I'll just send them my number.
Yeah.
I got a lot to say. You know, I'm not going to text it all. You call me when you got about an hour, and I'll do that until I can't, man. Because I take for granted having a guy like my dad that I can call about anything. Differential lockout, I know who to call.
Yeah.
Anything, you know. I've had a guy my whole life collectively giving me this advice. These guys are making their first phone call to you, so I'll always help a man. And I try to, like on the union side, I'll steer them to go sign a ticket as a groundman, unless they're wanting to go to a lineman school, you know. And that's another decision people have to make. I've been the utility I worked for. I was towards the end. I was a foreman there, and I was on the hiring committee for a few rounds on the interview panel, I guess. And some of the guys I was interviewing had been to a lineman school, and the proof that they were sitting there is that lineman school helped them, you know. Because I'm like, I don't know how many people applied for this job, but if there's 5 of you that we're talking to today, 3 of you went to a lineman school, it had to hold some weight with somebody, or, you know, the math ain't mathing if it don't. And of course those guys were pretty sharp. If you know, the guys that would come on, they were a little bit ahead. They'd been up a pole and learned some fundamentals. Some guys, financing is a big deal. You know, you take when I was 19, I don't know what it cost to go to a lineman school, so I'm just guessing 20. I would say 20 grand. When I was 19, I was a little bit short of $20,000. You know what I mean? Bit. And I was nervous to have a
19.9 short of 20.
Yeah, that's close to Christmas. You know, so I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been brave enough to go to a lineman school just because of the financial side.
Yeah.
And so luckily I got to just go to work, and my apprenticeship was on the clock through utility, you know, for 5 years. But laying out the options and letting them make their own decision. Try not to force them, young guys.
The thing is with young guys is it's like, if you're looking at the college or university route, it's kind of easy. You just like, you have so many options. You just like kind of apply, and then if your grades are good enough, you'll get accepted to something and you just go. Well, it doesn't work the same way in the trades, and especially in the line trade. It's hard to just apply to things and then eventually you just like, you know, you get accepted and you go. Like, you actually got to do some work to get in the door. you know, if you have money, you can pay to go to a line college, but that only gets you into the college. That doesn't get you a job after either, like university or college. It doesn't guarantee work after. You still have to go and do some work to get a job. Or if you do just go sign the books and start as a groundman, like, it's still not easy. You can sign the books, but it doesn't mean you're getting hired out.
Yep.
But you really got to work for it. So like, I get why they struggle, because they don't know what to do. There's no clear path. There's no, framework or steps laid out. And especially if they've never had anybody to talk to, never anybody to call, and you're their first call, it's hard. Like, I really think the industry could do a better job, like including the IBEW. They think they do a great job at it. Like, they all talk like they do a great job at it, but they really don't. It's really segregated. Certain areas do better job at like letting people know what exists and the steps and framework and how to get places, but collectively they suck at telling people. Like, I'll call them out right now. Like, meet the kids where they're at, and where they're at's on fucking TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not out in any bullshit magazine that you put out. Like, meet them where they're at. Go hire somebody that's in where the attention is. Yeah. And that's like in social media or in places like that. Like, I don't know, that's the shit I preach, because like, they suck at it. They honestly suck at it.
If they had a hotline number, I promise you it would ring every day.
Yeah.
You could have a full-time person answering that phone.
Yeah. Like, they got guys like us out there talking to one person at a time, trying to be that person. Yeah. That's my platform's been like, I've only got, so many followers.
Yeah.
I worked 10 years to try to gather these followers. They've got email lists of hundreds of thousands of people that they could send this information out to. Like, get with the real times, man. Yeah. Like, it really bugs me because, I heard Mike Rowe say recently that there's 650,000 or 700,000 open positions for tradesmen to move into, like, going to work tomorrow in the trades in America.
That's amazing.
Like, open positions, and there's not the people there that want to go do it. No. So like, we've failed. Like, what we're doing isn't working. Like, they don't want to be in the trades. So they either don't know about the trades or they don't want to be in the trades, which is sad, because the jobs are there.
I feel like especially the lineman industry, we're probably missing out on some really good guys.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
That are just going another direction because their buddy's going to the pipeline. So, and they're going where they know they can get a job. So I know some young guys that would be amazing to have on the crew that are just, kind of, they're just unsettled about change, kind of. But if they had one person patting them on the ass to get them through the gate, they'd be jam up, and they'd have a great career and thrive, man. But I went to a Tennessee Valley Lineman Rodeo. It's been a few months ago. And the Lineman College was there, and I got to spend one whole evening with some young guys there that, they were going to the Lineman College, and they were hoping they got assigned and thinking about where they're going to want to go. One of them wanted to go to Illinois, where he was from, and even at that Lineman College, like, there was a bunch of questions that these guys were asking that I couldn't believe hadn't already been answered. Like, if you got them in the class, you could spend just a few hours in a group discussion and teach them a whole lot of stuff that. They were just a few weeks from graduating. Yeah. And I've never thought about it till we were talking now, but they were still in the dark about how it's going to work after they graduated. And one of the guys that called yesterday was in an internship for a co-op. He went to a lineman school in Arkansas, and they'd placed him in an internship like 15 weeks or something, and it was up. So now I kind of feel anxious for this guy, because his 15 weeks is up, and he's fixing to not be getting paid. And he called me yesterday, kind of like, man, what can I do right now? And that was the one I told you. I kind of guided him to the people he knew, but he's fixing to have to make a knee-jerk reaction. And he's probably feeling sick right now because he then paid for a lineman school that hadn't paid off for him yet, but it will. I gave him hope. I got some groundmen that I helped get on with a union contractor I worked on years ago. One of them's been there for 3 years, and I tell this story. He started applying for the apprenticeship immediately, because I told him, I was like, man, day one, you're going to be a groundman, but apply for the apprenticeship through Mo Valley, And I think he just got the call 2 weeks ago.
Good for him.
But that's years.
Yeah.
And he's busted his ass for years.
Yeah.
Earned his place, and he's going to be a jam up hand. Like he's had 3 years, and he's got to work on a bunch of crews. At the utility I worked at, you'll spend your whole life on one crew until somebody retires and moves up. It's pretty isolated, your experience, and I wish now that I could have got to travel my whole career like I've done for the last 5 years. It's pretty awesome what else is going on around there. You can build a job that's got 4 poles on it. 3 ain't the max. You can go 1 pole further if you like.
And 1 more if you like.
You can have 3 phases if you get carried away with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I love seeing the young guys now. It's weird. It feels weird to not be the young guy. I spent my whole life at the utility. I was way the youngest guy. Now it sucks. I'm 40.
It all of a sudden just happens too.
Yeah,
it really does.
I got gray whiskers. I bought a candle the other day when we was in the Tetons. It smelled so good outside. I was in the store and I'm over there smelling candles.
It's probably vanilla.
No, it's called Wilderness. Thank you. And it smells so good. I don't want to burn it. Like I'm not wasting that candle. My wife caught me sniffing it the other day. Just shook her head.
It smells like a cedar forest.
It smells like riding dirt bikes through the Tetons is what it smells like. That's what they should have called it. But I'm like, well, that's the first sign of getting old. I bought a coffee cup and a candle.
You know what smell they should put into a candle and every dude would buy it? The smell like of an old carburetor, like burning fuel, like an old C10 Chevy, just that idling.
Oh, that smells like Arkansas.
It's wonderful. Like that's, yeah, exactly. Right. Or the smell of an old 2-stroke dirt bike.
A 2-stroke.
Like if you just made like man candles and you just like thought of all of these scents, like, hey, this is what we're doing, bro.
Dude, I'll start man candles right now.
Let's do that.
We can have a burnt fuse, like from a bad pot too, not lightning.
100%.
Yeah, we got a bad pad mount on this fuse. That's what bad pad mount smell it,
So like a transformer oil test day, you're taking an oil sample from an old transformer. You're like, oh, that smells like PCBs.
We can have some PCB floating in the air, man. That's an aroma.
Yeah, dude, man candles. Let's do it.
But anyway, now I'm an old guy. Now I'm trying to help young guys. And this guy. Anyway, when I'm talking to a 19-year-old, it's hard to believe he's half my age.
Yeah.
So if the next 20 goes as fast as the last 20, I'm on my way out, but I'll be 60 by Thanksgiving. Is how it feels. But try to make it help where I can, and kind of the biggest opportunity that I think we have is bringing up younger guys.
Yeah.
The guys that are already in the trade, it takes work to stay. You got to be committed. You'll see guys get burned out or needing change, or they're working a long ways from home. I got some real good friends that are working in California and Oregon right now, and you know the grind, man. They go out and do their time and they come home and see their family, and that's also tough on a guy.
Yeah.
To have to miss everything, but it comes with the trade.
Yeah.
That's the difference in sitting in a boat factory or.
I just wish it was easier for these guys, like for the linemen too. We can talk about that in a second, but just to cap off for these young guys, it's like, I just wish it was laid out easier for them. I've been thinking about this a lot recently because my 18-year-old son, I didn't push him into this at all. He just randomly came up to me a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, Dad, I think I want to become a lineman. And I was like, wow, this is from left field. Like I had no idea that he was even thinking about it. And he'd been thinking about it a lot. And I think what sparked it is he was trying to find a job. He's just graduated high school, trying to find a job. So he was struggling trying to find a job. So I said, how have you been looking? And he's like, oh, I've been applying online. And I was like, what do you mean applying? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I've been sending out my resume online. And I'm like, that's stupid, Hudson. I'm like, let me take a look at your resume. So I helped him dial in his resume a little bit because with what experience he's had. But he's done a few things, like he worked for an old farmer down the road, like learning how to run a chainsaw and cut firewood for him and run his tractor and shit like that. So I'm like, okay, let's put that in. He's 18, something, right? And so I said, print a few of these off. Like, you got to go old school here, Huds. Like, print these off, go into the place that you want to apply to, ask for somebody in charge, a manager or somebody in charge, and ask if you can talk to them and shake their hand, look them in the eye, tell them what you're doing and that you want a job. And here's what I've done,
Yeah.
And so he did that to 2 places. And First one he did, he got hired detailing cars at Toyota. And
Hell yeah.
and literally the very next day, he got a phone call from an arborist offering him $5 more to go be a ground hand at an arborist, like for an arborist. So he said, what should I do? I'm like, how much are they paying you at Toyota?
Yeah.
Quit that job and go work for the arborist. So anyway, he came to me a couple weeks ago and he's been setting up bucket trucks and he got to fly in they let him go up in the air and work the controls. And he's been running saw and cutting trees and rigging and learning all the things that, we kind of learn. And I'm like, okay, this is the basis for, getting into the trade. Like, that's great. You're learning all the things. So that's why he's like, I think I want to try being a lineman. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, once you boom up, it's hard to boom down, buddy.
It's hard to boom down, 100%. He did it like you said, just did it once, went up in the air. He's like, this is cool. I'm like, I know. I remember the day. I remember my first bucket truck ride. I remember that. I remember the first pole I climbed and just was like, this is pretty fucking cool.
Wish you could feel that again.
I know,
like the excitement of actually getting to climb in that bucket, and it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
Like someone can drive by and you're still in the air and it's good.
We had an old double pail bucket, and this is what I didn't realize. Like the very first bucket I went up with my foreman. He was in the other bucket, but when you swiveled the bucket, when either guy swiveled the bucket, because the bucket's like turned in. They just did this. That's all they did, right? But when they turned in, they also tilted a little bit. And I thought I was falling out. Like he fucking swiveled his bucket and mine started to tip forward. And I swear I screamed like a little girl, but it was...
That's a mini heart attack that never quits.
Dude, it was a 2-inch drop of death.
Like a pin-on without the brake set?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I died in some pin-ons without the brake set.
Yeah.
I was still good after the fact, but I died for a minute.
Yeah. I think we've all had that. Kick out a little bit and or your belt slips, especially on steel. Like I worked on a lot of steel lattice towers, and you just like wrap your Petzl belt around that or your rope belt around that. But like you'd lean a little bit and it would slip, but that little 2-inch drop of death, like
you was gone.
You were gone. I was gone. I died.
I've never got to climb lattice on the clock. Like I said, I wish I would have been so secluded.
Yeah.
I'd loved to get in some high line or some lattice time. It looks like a blast.
It is.
I think I would feel that young feeling again of getting to go up for the first time. Maybe I need to look out for that. But
those are always the things I talk about when somebody asks me like, what do I miss the trade? What I miss is getting dropped off on a lattice tower in the mountains with, your buddies, and the helicopter takes a turn for your gear and he's going to be 10 minutes and you're just up there with the most amazing view and, 4 of your closest buddies, your closest friends, and you're just like taking a breath, looking around, like going, fuck, this view is amazing. Sun's out, it's summer, it's the morning. It's like, there's just nothing wrong with that at all. And like, that's the times that you miss, right? And then that chopper takes a turn, brings you your tools, and it's go time. And 4 of you like do something amazing up there that nobody's done, and people haven't been on that tower in 50 years. And you just like touched insulators and changed them out or something like that. And you did this amazing work and you did it in record time and everyone was safe. And it was just like, those are the days. Like those are the days I miss. Like when somebody asks me to miss it, but like the other 99% of the time, I'd probably miss that,
I think you just described a brand new candle.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's chopper exhaust or structure silence in
Jet
the
A.
wind. But
The smell of burning Jet A.
Yeah. I can't quit thinking about 2-stroke now, man. When a 2-stroke dirt bike, we got behind one time in the mountains this 2 weeks ago. We never seen it, but we smelled it.
Right.
And like, I want to cold trail this bike. That was almost better than smelling the spruce trees in the mountains. That's a weird thing.
Do you know when you smell a scent and it takes you back somewhere? Like there's a memory attached to that scent.
Oh, an exact memory.
It's that memory. Yeah, 100%. Like if I smell 2-stroke, I go back to my dad's shop and me and my brother, trying to fire our shitty old CR freaking 50 in like, yeah, man, it's just, those are the days. We spent entire summers, every summer until I was 18, riding dirt bikes all summer long. Like all my brother and I cared about was our next tank of fuel and where it was coming from, whether Dad was going to bring gas home for us that night or not.
The good old days, man. You run chainsaw gas through one of them if you had to.
We ran everything through them. They take everything that they used to anyway. I don't know about now, but we shit, man. We would be like, we'd put straight gas in and then just like kind of pour some oil in there.
It's good.
Oh yeah. And then it would like blow blue smoke and be like, oh, we poured a little too much oil in there.
You gotta dial it in, man.
Yeah. We had it figured out.
Yeah. I learned in the mountains that our bikes are carbureted and they burn a whole lot more fuel at 12,000 feet than they do in Arkansas. And our bikes wasn't running right. We got up some mountains that we couldn't go any further. It's just not happening. But we burned a whole lot more gas, and we ran out of gas back there in the mountains one day. And so me and my buddies are sitting on the side of the road. We don't even know which way the truck is. We know what town our truck's in. Yeah. We don't have no idea which direction. But anyway, we had to get rescued by a guy that had a bunch of gas. But it's the most amazing feeling to hear a vehicle coming when you're in that position. Because a bike that gets 77 miles a gallon, you'd think 2 gallons, you'd be good. We was like 110 miles in that day and trips over. There's no fuel gauge either. But anyway, it's good times, man. I'm not carrying on about bikes, but it's important to me. You don't ever see a dirt bike sitting at a shrink's office. Guys that own dirt bikes don't need mental help. We got it. It's on the trail.
You know what? That's a good point. What's some more mental health advice? For real though, man, because that's no bullshit. It's like some guys just need to hear stuff like that. Like find something that you like to do, and save up, spend the money on it, and go do the thing.
Dude, I got nearly a biker gang of dirt bikes in my circle. 2 of my friends that called me yesterday. They're like, "Man, when you coming back? Let's go riding." And we ride four-wheelers too, but like. Now I think about it, that may be what they needed to hear yesterday. Like, man, I'm having a bad day. Let's call and book something. So now we'll go. But hobby, man, having a hobby. I understand when your kids are young and if you got a house full. But I've worked with guys that, they'd go to work and they'd go home and the next time they'd leave would, be to work. And that adds up. I don't know if a man's wired to do that for a long time. Same thing goes for being a serviceman that's on call. And I'm speaking about, I was raised by a serviceman. I'm not, I can tell you firsthand, if you spend your whole life on call and your sleep schedule stays messed up and you miss every ball game and you're always on call and you're missing things, it takes a mental toll. And I'll end this conversation about this. That most of them have issues, from relationships to bad habits and stuff. And I think a dirt bike and the right candle could probably set this right back in the right direction, man.
I love that. We just lost every lineman talking about fucking candles.
No, man, they're wanting the 2-stroke Banshee candle. You had a Yamaha Banshee candle, we'd sell some right now. You know it.
Man sense. I love it.
I'm sorry.
No,
that's how my brain goes, man.
It's how my brain goes too.
It's a cycle of, I'm thinking at all times, I'm thinking about something Theo Vaughn said a month ago. The Yeti blog and a new tool I'm trying to get in production all at once. Sadly, it's where I'm at.
I think a lot of us in the trade are like that. And I wish more, this is why I like having guys like yourself on the show, to be honest. I love having guys that come up in a trade, but also have like entrepreneurial, instincts or just like have an entrepreneurial spirit. Plus like kind of an inventive soul too and curiosity about like how to make things better, how to make things different or invent new products and bring them into existence and that whole process. So I'd love to dive into that with you because I don't think that you're an anomaly out there when it comes to linemen. I think a lot of linemen that I've talked to, like I'm sure you talk to them all the time. They have ideas, right? Like, I'd love to make this thing. It's like, I want to encourage people to do that. And like I was talking about my uncles that worked at a sawmill for 45, 50 years. That's awesome. But like, I'm sure there was things that they dealt with on a daily basis that they would have loved to make better. And I know a lot of them did, but like making that into something where other people can then use to make their lives easier. I don't know, just that whole process. Like, how did it start for you? Like, have you always been like a guy that tinkers with things and tries to make tools or make things better for what you're doing?
Oh yeah, man. I started young. this, I've always been looking for new ways to skin old cats, you know, kind of. And I always had a bunch of homemade tools on my trucks, and I'd make a new socket, like a bone wrench. Like when I was 19, I welded a hammerhead to my bone wrench. Like I know Milwaukee has one they sell now. Yeah. 2004, I welded a daggum Hastings hammerhead to the back of my bone wrench. You know, I still got it, but. And I did that stuff. And like I said, I didn't release my first tool till 22. But the list, my list of inventions, this is true. My list of inventions, way before cell phones, you had to write stuff down on paper.
Yep.
Even in high school, and I still got this paper. I don't know how it's made it, but a piece of notebook paper folded about 18 ways has my invention list on it. And not all of it's power line work, obviously. The back of it is from later in life, but the first half was the most amazing things. And a bunch of that stuff exists now. But I'd come up with a new idea and write it down, and it's like in 40 different colors of ink pen, you know, because whatever I could find at the teacher's desk that day or whatever. And so I've always had a list, and I have a list now that we have this new technology where I can keep a list on my phone. You wouldn't believe it. I'll show you later. It's probably 400 tools in my list of stuff to release. That's a low ball guess, probably. It's unreal. But so in 22, I decided I was going to start with one, and like, well, you figured out what you're looking at gambling, and I'm like, man, let's do it. You know, it's been an awesome storm year. 21 was crazy hurricane year, and you know, a whole bunch of, I'm like, there's never a better time. Let's do it. So started Journeyman Gear, and it's kind of, you don't want to be rejected because you're going up against the biggest dogs in the pen.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be ready to either get shunned or accepted, and even after, like, I think I'm 40 tools now where I've released. Even after that, I still, when I release a new one, I'm like, you get nervous about acceptance, you know, but I've built a team around me now that is amazing as far as distributors and the people like Line Junk, those guys that make a huge difference on getting stuff out to the world. But you start with one, and it's about like building a big power line. You got to start on one end and go the other. And I just released one. I released 3 last week. They're not released to the world yet, but they're in production. And I got decals and, you know, patents and all that. But I've always been the guy that's made tools and I remember when the utility I worked for decided that there was no more improvised tools on the property, no more homemade tools, like no welded hammers or just anything. My truck was empty. Like, I'm like, I've took all of my magic home. Now what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
But it kind of haunts you because you spend spend whole days thinking about how to figure something out, how to get something to hinge the right direction, and if I don't watch it, it'll consume me.
How did you choose which item to start with? What was that process like?
So in 22, I still was full-time line crew foreman for this union contractor in North Arkansas. And I didn't spend a lot of time in the bucket, but my guys were, they're my homies. They didn't care if I'd make a tool and send it with them, and they'd test it for a few weeks. And the very first tool is called the corner pocket. It's a tool that sits on the inside corner of your bucket, and there's not a tool that sits there. Klein's released something kind of like that, but that was the most dire necessity that I wanted to attack first. I'm like, man, if I'm going to release one tool, and I didn't plan on releasing more than one. Like, I didn't even know what it looked like to get out, but of course it starts with cardboard, then it goes to wood, then to plastic, then to CNC machines, and then that tool we still make with a CNC router. It's made out of solid sheets, but you get it dialed in, and there's a whole bunch of, I don't even know if algebra is the word. There's a whole bunch of figures that goes into that to make it fit a whole bunch of different buckets. I went out and bought all the different brands of buckets, like the fiberglass buckets, so I could test it on T-Rex and Alta. Yeah. So you got to know, if you're going to release that, you need to be. Yeah. And I was scared to death of getting rejected and being way in the hole on that. And
so you're just doing this like self-funded. You're buying these buckets.
Oh yeah, I don't have any business partners. Yeah, no, it's all me on that. No, I don't. We run debt free. I'm proud to say we don't owe anybody any money. And but the first tool was a corner pocket, and I sent it to Line Junk and to Tallman Equipment. A guy named Doug Kirk. Yep. I didn't know Doug. I got his number, just like people give my number out to help people. Yeah. Doug's one of those guys that answered a phone call on a Saturday to a complete stranger. And he placed a big enough order for my tool that day that paid for everything that I was out. So I remember I told my wife, I was like, hey, if anything, we broke even. I want you to know, like cool feeling for February of 22. And of course, we started shipping those out all over the place, and it just went from there. The next tool was the boomerang that goes on the outside, and now it's enough tools they want all fit on this table, that just one after another. So it gets to where it's something I need to do. It feels like I have to. If I realize it's been a month, I kind of want to always be able to say I released a tool a month since 22.
Yeah.
And I can do that for a really long time before I run out of tools, but I'm going to run out of time. And it's, and a weird thing on a business aspect is when you hire more people or get a team, and then you got people that are relying on you to maintain, and I'm liable to take off for a month and either go on a storm or go elk hunting too.
Yep.
So I was kind of, that's a weird spot to be. But
people and systems, right? As soon as you get people and systems, then that frees up your time.
Yep.
Yeah, there's this, it's funny, you're going to relate a rapper to this, but there's this like rapper I follow on TikTok's name is Russ. Russ is a self-funded musician, like doesn't owe anybody anything, never joined a label, never, hired a producer, nothing. Everything he made in his own house with a laptop and a microphone. That's it. And he's multi-millionaire now, like multi-platinum selling artist, like, and did it all off the back of like TikTok and releasing a song a week. He would build these songs in public, meaning like just on TikTok. He would work with this community, built a following, let them in on what he was doing, let them in on the process that he was doing to create the music, and they just kind of like release it on TikTok. And he just kept doing this through the whole pandemic, man. It was like a song a week is what he was doing, and he's built this amazing catalog and this amazing following now, and just like all on his own, owns everything, which is completely different than most artists, of his stature. Like they're broke almost, right? Like
record label owns them.
Record label owns them, owns their rights to everything. Like they're getting, the R word.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. So that's kind of cool. Like you made it. You own what you own, and you don't owe anybody shit, and you can keep going. That's cool. And I like your product a month thing. Like you can always scale that up too. Yeah. Like it could be a product a week or a product every 2 weeks.
Dude, I could.
It's well, with people and systems, you can probably get there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, man, I gotta make that step. I'll be honest with you. My company doesn't even have a company credit card. Find out. We still run on debit in North Arkansas. That's weird.
You're leaving air miles on the table, man.
Dude, I know. It's the weirdest thing. That debit card is so wore out you can't read the numbers, but it still scans.
Yeah. You definitely need a credit card hooked up to some travel points or
that's
something.
That's hard to believe, ain't it? Like even some protection. I probably from the people.
Dude, that's how I travel every year. I go to Europe. I've been going to Europe for the last 3 years. Like all free, not free, but like. I burn the credit card heavily, but it's all connected to travel points, so it's all points. Yeah,
I'm leaving money on the table, man.
Yeah, dude.
What is the deal? We got to go back. I'll get with my committee and see about what we can do about getting a credit card.
Yes, sir. Immediately.
Yeah.
Like, you probably need 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna run the candles by them too as soon as we get sit down.
Hey, you keep me in on that.
We're in. Yeah, man. We're gonna figure this out.
So what's like when you started out? Give some guys some advice that like give somebody a kick in the ass right now that's been, because they're on here, they're listening, the guy that's been thinking about making something, that has an idea. Like I've worked with dozens of these guys, these linemen. I was never one of those guys that wanted to take a tool and just kept freaking tinkering with it after hours to make it work properly. I was just like, I don't know, meat-headed my way through like using the tool even if it didn't work properly. But you sound like you're different. So dude, what's your kick in the ass to those guys to like go do the thing?
I just had this kick in the ass talk with a guy yesterday. Very respectful. Complete stranger called me. A guy from California. He's made an awesome tool. I won't discuss what it is, but he's posted it public, but awesome tool. And he reached out to me online, and I just sent him my number. I'm like, man, this is too much to text. And he called me and talked to him yesterday. So the kick in the ass, if you have a new idea for something, the first thing you have to figure out is manufacturing. If it's real complex, man, if it's electronic or it needs to be tested dielectrically or rated for human support, just avoid that. There's a reason the big dogs make that stuff, and it's the insurance liability. it's unreal. It's unreal what it costs to even insure that and manufacture it. But first thing I told him, this guy already has the tool, and he's already got manufacturing figured out. Like, before you send the first one out, before you call any of these distributors, you need professional liability and product liability, 2 different things. And I told him what those numbers need to look like to work with the biggest power companies, what they expect, minimums. And he was pretty dialed in on getting a patent. And but I've right off the bat, I was like, man, as soon as you get some, let's say you get 400 in stock, don't be afraid to send 100 of those out for free. Like, you need to get super comfortable. Just treat it as a $100 business card that lasts forever. You may never hear from that guy again. That power company may test it for a year and nobody liked it, and you may not hear from it. You got to be willing to gamble that. But exposure is the biggest thing to get in. There's a lot of guys that don't even know my tools exist. I meet guys that have them already, and then you meet guys that are like, I've never heard of it. How long has this been out? It's amazing, And without having an insane network behind you that's doing your marketing for you, the way you talk to a lineman is by they walk in and there's a new tool available that's laying there, or even a catalog. It costs a lot of money to get catalogs printed, but I ship out thousands. Nearly every order gets a catalog. That's a permanent business card that'll float around for maybe a year or two in a line crew room. And but the rodeos are cool you get a bunch of guys that walk by and see your stuff. But like, I have shipped so many tools to guys I've never met, and some of it's paid off really amazing. It's relationship wise, or you get your tool in the door. But anyway, I told the guy, don't be scared to spend money on getting your tool out. Just treat it like it's going to be a business expense up front. And I told him so I'm going to drop direct names, but I talked to him about the distributors and the people to talk to that I could help him with that love new products. I'm helping both people out. These distributors love finding a new product that's lineman made. And that's been key. Like, the biggest thing I've had, it hadn't been website sales of my own. It's been having the right guys that are willing to show my tools and offer it through their company. And like, you've heard of S-Tex Manufacturing? Mm-hmm. Got a good friend, Dustin Westenhunt. He's a S-Tex sales rep, and that boy's brought me in more doors than I ever could have kicked open. We'll say networking. Just the right guy. That a year ago he didn't know me, and I met him at a show, and he's like, I know somebody you need to meet. And now, a year later, I've partnered with S-Tex on 2 tools that we're working on that they want of mine. And it's hard to believe how I'm meeting one guy that can just literally, he loaded me in his truck and took me to some power companies, guys he's worked with for years. So networking's crazy. So if you couldn't make it, I could send cold call emails for the rest of my life, and having one guy on your side, and you got to take care of those relationships too.
Zero in on networking for a second, because I talk about this quite a bit, but it's good to hear you say this too, because I run my mouth about it all the time. And just how important your network is. And honestly, you might think you're like that this relationship doesn't matter. Like, say you burn a bridge, whatever, like, fuck this guy, I'm dragging or whatever. But like, you're 5 years down the road, you've got an idea for a tool. Now all of a sudden this guy's working for some
that's right
Chance or Milwaukee or something, I don't know. And now you've got this idea, and you're sitting in the same room with this guy that you just burned. It happens. Guys don't think that happens, but it happens every day. Whether it's just like on the crew level and you just burned a bridge and now you're trying to get on a job and that guy's the lead foreman or something like that. It's like, no friggin' way. Like, I've done it in the past too. Like, I'm not working with that guy. He's not on my job site. No way. Yep. And, that guy lost out on thousands of dollars because he wasn't on that job and he's sitting at home, all because you pissed off that foreman somewhere down the line. Anyway, networking is just huge. It's not even just that. It's like you said, like, good relationship with one person. What's that guy's network right now? Like, you're going to sell a tool, and all of a sudden that guy's got the best network of people that could help you in America, and he's introducing you to all of them because, you're buds, and, you've treated the relationship right.
It's powerful words out of the right mouth, networking, man. Even TikTok, I got a friend, Robert Pope, he's one shot. Yep. I sent him free tools, and he'd test them and breaks them. Like, he was dragging a bucket truck around the yard with one of my bucket hooks behind an F-250. I make a bucket hook that you can't break unless you hook 2 bucket trucks together, or something. But, And you can I follow a bunch of figures on website traffic and stuff, and two things you can tell in my world is when there's been a big storm hit and all the double time lands, or when like I didn't know he had posted any of the videos they'd made, but I could tell something was going on out there. And then the next morning he sent me videos, but that's on a small scale. But if you meet the right guy, we'll say at Duke or PG&E, those big companies, that loves your tools, and he's still eager enough for the trade that he's like, I'm going to bring these back. I got a whole bunch of people to show. You owe that guy $1 million. Like it's because every office has that guy that's trying to find new tools to bring in, new ways to do stuff, and you find those guys. They're usually on a tool team. I used to be on the standards committee for the utility I worked for, and that's where you introduce new tools. You'd find new, from safety glasses to new brand of rubber gloves, whatever it is. Went through the standards. So I really like meeting new standards guys, because that means that's not assigned. It's a volunteered role usually. That means they care enough to listen, and they're looking for guys that are making new tools. So somebody that's out to make a new tool, I'm going to say test it rigorously before you release it. Make sure it's dialed in. You don't want to have warranty department issues. I just give everything of mine a lifetime warranty, and I didn't know if that was going to be a mistake or not.
Best thing.
I haven't replaced 10 tools, and it's a no-brainer.
It's because you can stand behind your product too,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So I would advise that. Like you're not gambling a whole lot to say that, especially if you make a good product. And it's hairy to say that to a group of linemen, because they can't wait to break some stuff. Like lifetime warranty. Let's see how Sawzall handles it. You know what I mean? And that's how some guys are. But I'd say take a load off somebody else in this world, and because you kind of beggars is kind of how it is to get in. Whatever you're doing, take a load off somebody else about it. Make their day easier. If the mailman has lost something, or UPS lost a shipment, don't make it their problem. Like, I don't care what happened to it. You're getting a whole nother box of tools. I'm sorry that happened. And if it shows up, you can keep them too. And that stuff, people remember that.
Yeah.
When you do extra, if you do something more than what they expected, that's what they write down. Do that.
What's your approach been to marketing?
Man, day one, I sent Line Junk a message, which Mary Oliver, she's cool, and Doug Kirk, only two numbers on this earth that I had, and I work with both of them still to this day. So I didn't have a website, like I didn't have a business card, hard hat stickers. I didn't have any of that. Andrew Morris helped me with that a lot with Line Roots. He's bougie, what I mean? He could definitely make some candles, and so I went a year, and he told me.
I love that that's going in the episode.
Yeah, he said, "Bro, you got to get some dang stickers, man." Or like, "What are you doing?" Like, there's nobody in this little town that makes stickers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And he's like, "I got a guy." So he sent me his design guy, and I'm like, "Man, this feels like wasted money. Here's $1,000. Best thing I ever did." That
yep.
You get a guy that's what he does, and like a genius. Like he took some of my tools and designed them into decals. That's like, anyway, just so I didn't get catalogs for probably 3 years. Of course, I don't want a catalog with two things in it. I didn't even think about a catalog, but when I was going to the Lineman Rodeo in Kansas City, like, man, you got to have stuff to hand out. And I knew I wasn't gonna have enough time to talk to everybody and make an impression that they're gonna remember. So I at least be like, "Man, I'm Jared. I'm a lineman. Here's my tools," because people are just walking by. They'll read it later. So I had catalogs made, and I've had to have them reprinted, because they get a bunch of them at a time. Now there's 4 tools that I've released that aren't in my catalogs that I still got piled up. So I got to
redo them.
Now that's just sign those off. So if you order something, you get 5 catalogs in the mail. Just put them on tables everywhere you're at, restaurants or at the crew room. Just give them out. That's how.
What you should do is you should put a QR code on the catalogs now, and the QR code just goes to your website, which is the page for new products. So put a little QR code with the title. If you want to see the new products, scan this QR code, and that always goes to your website, which is your new products.
That's genius. Sounds like something Andrew Morris would have told me.
Andrew and I talk quite a bit.
I'm doing that. I'm absolutely doing that, because it don't cost any more to add a
doesn't
barcode.
cost any more.
Oh, that's dumb.
And then it's in perpetuity. Like it that lasts forever. just goes to a page that you can update constantly on your website. For all the new products, scan this code, takes you to the website. Then it gets them digital too. It gets them to like a landing page, and then make that new products page a little bit bougie, like make it a little bit, funnel-ish, gets them looking through the rest of your, with some good wording.
I've had the best idea. You know how like a Glamour magazine has the page that has perfume? It's going to be 2-stroke on that page.
There you go. Man. Scratch and sniff too. Like,
you remember what I'm talking about?
What's the scent? Like it's a little, you scratch this one, that's 2-stroke.
Yeah.
That's cedar forest.
Yep. That is a bad 50 kVA on a Wednesday.
Oh, that's a fart.
I don't know how we get down these rabbit holes. I apologize.
The guys are.
I am doing the QR code. That's going to be it. I love that.
Here's another helpful. I love marketing's like my second passion in life. Like there's line work and then there's like social media and marketing. So here's one for you. If you've done a social media video or that's gone like somewhat viral or been accepted out, like pulling that bucket hook with 2 buckets, like you could make a video on that goes viral. Like trying to break this bucket hook using 2 bucket trucks.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay. If you have access to that video, right? Take that video, and every time there's a major storm, take that video and throw it in Facebook, throw some ad dollars behind it, throw a couple $1,000 behind it, and target linemen in Georgia because the storm just went through, like for the duration of the storm. And now, what do linemen have when they go to these storms? Usually they got a bunch of time and they're sitting around on fucking social media.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're catching up on the world.
Yeah, and they're either pre-spending their money or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, linemen can premeditate some money coming.
So take a video that's already been accepted organically and retarget that video as an ad with some dollars behind it to an area that's just been hit by a storm, 2 linemen in an area that's just been hit by a storm. And you can do that with Facebook, not so much with TikTok, but you could still throw some on TikTok behind that too, some ad dollars behind that, and it's worth it.
Kind of feels like I'm capitalizing on a natural disaster, which I'm willing to do,
Hey, America.
Yeah, I'll be on the storm. I'll be seeing my own ad. Hopefully,
you will.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go somewhere, man.
Yeah. Hey, and make a video about that, like checking out your own ad, making a purchase.
Oh yeah.
On Storm. So then it gives you social proof. Like, look, I'm on Storm, caught my own ad. I made a sale. How come you're not?
It's weird that I've never seen my own ad. I don't know about this now. I'm starting to wonder. I do buy ads and things. Yeah. So you know how you sound like you know a bit about it. You can pay like your daily budget and this runs until paused.
Mm-hmm.
I just found this out last week. I had an ad from last October, November. It was quite a bit a day.
Still running?
That was still running. And I was looking for, I scrolled way through my profile looking for a picture from back then. Then I knew I was there, and I looked, and this post had 300-something thousand views. I'm like, man. So I clicked on it, and I seen what I'd spent.
Yo, might have to turn that one off.
That's a 3/4 ton truck right there, but I'm like, I didn't know. It's my own fault.
Yeah.
I need to get better networking.
People, systems.
I need some people. Yeah.
People and systems.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't bug my wife about any of it. So I can say that for the 4 or 5 years we've been in, I haven't bugged her. Maybe she's dropped something off at UPS for me or something like that. But it's all me. You'd be surprised what just one lineman can keep up with or can lose track of. Both are pretty incredible at the same time.
How do you take feedback from the community on like tools and products, and do you have a network also of like people you send products to, like, hey, try this out, make sure it makes sense? Like, how do you go through that whole testing kind of so that you know that you got something that's the best possible thing that you could make?
Yeah, man, I have a new tool. I've redesigned the corner pocket. I got the second corner pocket. You're the first person I've ever told this other than Andrew, but I got the second corner pocket that's coming out, and the changes I've made to it have been based off what I heard some people that I really respect said they wish was different about the first one, 4 or 5 years ago. The last lineman rodeo I went to in Oregon, I had some guys, and I was thankful they come up and talk to me. They told me some things that they run into on a few of my tools that they could see a change. And I'm telling you, when I change them, I'm doing that. I'd be silly not to listen to a lineman that, well, for one, cares enough to want to come talk to me, and for two, has already tested my original tool and found something that they could change. And that's pretty simple stuff to fix, but there's no way I'm not going to listen to the community about what they want or what they're running into. 'Cause I've fought the good fight too. You know, there's a million things that can irritate you in the air. You don't need. I don't want Journeyman Gear's tools to be one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so I avoid conflict with that, and I'm all ears. So.
Have you made anything that came directly, like an idea came directly from the field?
All of them.
Yeah. Or like, are they your idea, or are you just like keep an ear out? Like, oh, this guy said something about, oh, it'd be cool if we had this, and it's like, oh, okay, let's try to make something for that. Or is it more like you've come up with an idea and then you kind of like throw the idea out and let some feedback come back?
I have had some product request that didn't exist. Like one guy called me, I won't say name, but a guy called me and works for a big distributor of mine, and he's like, I'm looking for a tool, Jared. And he told me what it was. He's like, is that one of yours? I was like, no, but that's actually something that nobody makes, if I can save you some trouble, because we've been looking for them for 20 years. He's like, well, why hadn't you fixed that yet? I was like, you give me a week and you'll have one. And it's the rope rack. It's a tool that goes in a receiver hitch that when you're pulling in ropes, it's got, 2-ton hooks and safety latches. I was like, I just designed that in my head on this phone call. Like, that's done. You'll see. Shipped him one. Now it's actually Tallman. I'll say Tallman. That's part of their rental fleet now. Like, they rent them to when you rent dollies and, hot arms and stuff. But that's one of them, man. There are a few that's been a request that, for one, either they thought I made it and they couldn't find it, or for two, like, man, I thought of this. And I've identified other stuff. A cool tool called the Bic Grip. It holds a drill bit or a socket.
Love that one.
Cool tool.
That's a really cool tool.
It's super simple. Yeah. It'll last forever. It's welded out of steel. They had them little bits that are about this big, that are for 1/4-inch bits.
Yep.
And I seen them at Home Depot, and it's the same technology. It's plunger technology. I'm like, man,
let's make this a little bigger.
So right off the bat, the power of Google, there's not a 7/16 quick bit keychain until now. So I made that happen. So no, it's not like all the ideas come out straight out of the clouds and download into my brain. It's either something I fought or identified a need, or fought, or a job. I don't even go down the list. There's so many tools, but every one of them was. If I released it, I've at least believed in it enough that I know there's a need for it in the field, and it'll move. It'll gain some traction. And,
I love that idea of the quick bit. I think.
How does it not exist?
You could even get really nerdy with that and start making ways for other tools to attach to that as well, right? Like, taking other tools and being able to click them into that quick bit.
Like a screwdriver or something.
Yeah, right? Like making some sort of attachment for the screwdriver that, makes it a quick bit fit or something, right?
I need more of you. I need you to come hang out in North Arkansas for a while, man. You're full of it.
Yeah, like, because think now, like, you said you haven't had much tower experience, but like when you're thinking about like working on towers, this is one thing that, like, tower work always sucked. We would always take like a quick draw lanyard or something like that, and you'd end up just taping it to your spud wrench or something like that, and like using a carabiner to clip that on your belt. But it was like, it's clunky. See, that's my brain. I just, whatever the quick fix was, I just taped this rope to this and throw a beaner in it. But it'd be cool if like a tool actually clicked into these quick bits, right?
All right, I got that figured out. We'll work on commission later. We'll deal with that off scene. All right, that's genius. That's easy.
Cool.
Actually,
cool.
That's easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you name that.
All right.
In a little while. That's what you get out. You get to name it, whatever it is.
Sounds good. I love that. That's dope.
Man, you got anything else you come up with?
I could talk to you for a while and probably come up with something.
It's pretty awesome. You're talking about linemen that's intuitive or inventive. Yeah. A lot of guys that back to this. If you got an idea, man, don't live in fear. Don't wake up too scared to do something with it, or worried about what the other guys on your crew are going to think if you're trying to do something outside that chain link fence. Like, don't be scared to take a step.
How do you deal with that too? Like, was that intimidating, stepping into a world that's like this is tools, man. Like you talked about the big dogs out there, and you've got the Milwaukees and the Kleins. Like, name the brand that's multi-billion-dollar brand.
Yeah.
And you want to step into that world and start like making shit. Like, is that intimidating?
Yeah, it is.
How did you get over that?
Man, there was already some other linemen that had made tools before me, like the Bucket Knuckle Lineman Solutions. It's a cool tool. It's a great tool.
Yep.
And I think that's probably the first one that I've seen that I found out was a lineman invented tool. And I learned watching those guys kind of a little bit about what they do behind the scenes. And sometimes what you think is a big operation, it's not. And then that's where you start. And like it's like Amazon started in a carport or a garage, you know. So you ain't got to be scared to start small. You got to start. You know, you got to start somewhere. We can't all. Like when I come to this building, we're in the Quanta building. It's hard to fathom a company that's successful enough to have a facility like this, and they got stuff all over the world. I know, but don't let fear. The older I get, I know life's getting shorter, and don't let fear be what makes all your decisions. I got a very small circle of just my friends that are linemen, and they're all on my team. You know, they all root for me, and they approve, and they don't treat me any different. Knowing that I'm not a full-time lineman anymore, and I'm doing my own thing. They're still just as close friends as they have been. That's the kind of guys you want to stick around with. The naysayers or the ones that thinks you're abandoning ship just because you're trying to come up with something new. Don't let that be what controls your thoughts. But damn sure do it. And even if you don't want to take on manufacturing and you don't want to take on sales and stuff, there are so many companies that would love to hear your idea and could.
How did you find those? Like, how did you find the right? Like, how do you go? Like, walk through the process of finding these things and like what you do. So you have this idea, and say you make it out of wood, and then you make it out of plastic, and you've just made it in your garage. And now it's like, what's your next step? Like, what do you have to do? Do you have to get that patent? So like, who do you have to find? A lawyer to do,
patent attorney.
Do that? And then manufacturing, how do you even go about, you just Google like manufacturers like, how do you find a manufacturer for this thing and like work out a deal? And, you know, like, how do you go through that whole?
So we everything's made in North Arkansas, which is in the USA, thankfully. You know,
is it?
Right there in the middle of it, bud. Yep, you can't even get anywhere else but there from there. I have a friend that he's a machinist, and he actually he already had some giant CNC machines and some laser cutters and some guys on the clock there, and I took it to him, and it's a guy I've known for a while. My first tool, the corner pocket, and I was like, man, I don't even know if you have time, because he built river boats. You know, he owned a riverboat company. I was like, I don't even know if you have time to mess with me, but I think that this could turn into something that when your machines are down, you know, you could make a little bit more money, you know, if I pay you per tool. And we ran with that for quite a while. But that's right there in the same town I live in, and that's still how we do it. It gets through after COVID, everything was hard. Like, there's been months that I couldn't get material, you know, and you wait on stuff. I used to get worked up bad. Like, if I had a bunch of back orders from these companies that are ordering a bunch of stuff from me, I'm like, I'm feeling sick. Like, I want to drive to Nashville where they make this material I need just to get it and fill it. Now I've kind of got a little more relaxed. I'm not behind on anything, but the patent attorneys that's a whole nother thing, man. If you guys out there have a tool you're wanting to make, and your patent attorney is trying to charge you crazy money and they can't guarantee nothing, don't do it. Like, I'll be happy to talk to you about that, but there's two different patents that you have to pick from. One's called a provisional and one's a non-provisional. Always go with a non-provisional on a new tool that you're inventing, because that gives you 12 or 18 months to change it, to make any changes before you set it in stone as a non-provisional, and then it gets assigned a number. The patent attorney office is a federal agency, and they're tough. They're tough to work with. You can have all your ducks in a row, man, and think that one's set. You know, you're good. You're just waiting. You know, it takes 7 or 8 months to hear from them, and you'll get a John Deere letter from them that the sketches weren't sufficient, or that they can't identify, you know, certain things they need. Like, man, then you start over. It's not like they credit you what you spent. You start over, you know. So that can be disheartening. So don't let that scare you. But also there's some patent attorneys out there that they want a lot of money to do the same thing that you can get it done for a whole lot less, which something I didn't plan on at all. This was poor forecasting on my end. One tool a month, and then you get to 12 or 18 months and you have to file your finals. It turns out every month you got a final you got to complete, which is crazy money.
Right.
And it's never ended. You know what I mean?
Right.
So some of them I just don't fight with no more. Like you got to draw the line somewhere. And there's some tools that, like my plier holster, it's called a P holster that I don't have a vacuum mold or the CNC machine. Brian Selby owns Selby Knives. I cold called him. I was like, man, you got all this equipment and you make these awesome holsters for your knives, these sheaths. I'm like, I own this tool company and I'm wanting to get these made for a pair of Klein 9s, man, and nobody makes one. He's like, I already have all those pliers. He's an engineer for some power company out there. I don't know if you know Brian. He's awesome.
No, I haven't met him yet, but
he's
I know the company. Yeah,
he reminds me of you a little bit. He sees some things different than what most people do. He's a wizard, and he jumped on it, and he makes them for me. Only for me. It's my tool. But he's even made some improvements. Like that guy's brain don't sleep, but he's made that tool amazing. So it's a tool that he only makes for me, and It's not for sale anywhere else. But so networking is there, like because it would.
Is that a trust thing, or do you write a contract?
No, man, it's just a daggum trust. Yeah, and
amazing.
And if he can't trust me to not take that tool and get it made somewhere else, then he learned a lesson about me, and that's how I feel about him. Yeah. It's not going to happen. We're 4 years into that, and but that's a tool that I didn't even try to patent. If you was talking about being in the cage with big dogs, if Klein or one of them companies wanted that tool, I can't afford to fight them. I got to wash my hands and just be willing to do that. That's a fear that you live with. That like they spend more on coffee filters than my company cost. Yeah. So you got to pick your battles there. So.
How do you feel about that too? Like, how do you feel about bigger companies? Have you dealt with that? Like, have you seen a bigger company go, oh, they're just not that they made the corner pocket, but that looks a lot like my thing. Like,
I've told a few of them that something they made looks a lot like my thing.
Yeah.
Especially that don't go anywhere. But there's a few tools that I made that I shared that other people make now. It don't matter. They made it better than I was going to, because But so far I haven't had any friction from anybody as far as not being accepted to that industry or impeding on something that they was working on. I haven't heard anything ever, actually. It's kind of something I expected along the way, because you don't know. There's no way to know what all those companies have going. Like Milwaukee comes out with a new tool every day that blows my mind. They have the best engineers, man. You've seen all their stuff. It takes an 18-wheeler to haul everything that they come up with this month.
I've been through their facility in Milwaukee, like hand-guided tour through the whole facility, including their R&D department, which is fucking so cool.
I'd love to see it.
But that's you could do that. I could introduce you to the right people that go do that. I'm sure that they would love to chat with you. Like they're honestly like good, honest people. Like they're trying to do. That's why they've been so successful, I think, in the industry as well, because they just sat down with linemen.
Somebody's been listening.
Yeah, and they're like, amazing. They took advice. Like, I don't know. Look at their impact. Mm-hmm. They made an impact with a longer handle, so a guy wearing a rubber glove could actually grip the tool. Like, because that was a problem. Like, you're trying to grip tools with two fingers because the bottom two fall off.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, we'll make a longer handle. We're making it for. We're listening to you. Anyway, that's what. I'm not going to go on about them, but
that Milwaukee impact changed the world. The money gun, the 7/16 gun. I remember unhooking my hydraulic hoses.
Yeah.
Actually, their first
for the last time.
Their first one was 28 volt. The first one I remember getting, it was just 1/2-inch drive, so you had to put the adapter on to run a socket or a drill bit. But I remember getting to unhook them damn hoses.
Yeah.
And we put them in the bin because we didn't trust the battery tool was never going to die, and we may have to hook the hoses back up. But I don't think I've had hydraulic hoses in my bucket since like 2015. Man,
and how amazing is that? I don't know if you've ever had hydraulic hoses blow up on you.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's freaking hot oil everywhere. You're like,
yeah, company's not replacing your shirt either.
No.
That's your problem.
No, I know. It's the absolute, and then your day's ruined too, because
and it don't matter if you had 26 foot of hoses. You need 27 foot of hoses to get this bolt tight. You know what I mean? You jerk everything out of the bucket trying to get on that nut.
And no matter what, that gun had a life span to it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very long. And something would blow up in that gun. It would quit working. And so loud. Like,
oh, it was bad.
Half the linemen I know are deaf because of those fucking things. It's brutal.
Well,
yeah.
Days that past Milwaukee, if they had fixed anything, the squeeze tool and that daggone 5 or the 7/16 impact.
That's why I had another guy ask me the other day about carpal tunnel on LinkedIn. He asked about carpal tunnel syndrome and linemen. And I was thinking about it. It's like, it's really not a thing that linemen are running into anymore. But like when I was coming up, a lot of the guys, like a lot of my foremen and linemen I was working for had bad elbows and bad wrists and shit from squeeze on tools, like an MD6 or whatever, because they're squeezing. So they're making up transformer connections all day, every day. And their elbows were burned out.
That's a whole different life.
Milwaukee solved that problem too.
I remember we had to take that stuff off our truck when the cordless tools come out at the utility. They're like, guys, we're going to only use cordless tools every chance we get, which we had the Greenlee Gator that cut guy wire and still, cut off anchor rods from old poles. And we had one job to build at a retiree's house, a guy that worked for the power company, and he'd been retired, for 20 years. He retired in the 90s. And we was on his property, and he was he wanted to come hang out with us. He used to work for the company. Anyway, we had to cut guy wire, and it's, how the old Greenlee Gator was, and the battery died. That was our last battery. So we went over there and plugged it in and started the truck and turned the inverter on. So we're sitting there, and that guy's like, what the hell is going on over here? I was like, we're having to wait on a battery to charge. And you could just see the disgust.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can't cut that. That's against the rules, and that's what they want. So we waited 10 minutes for a battery charge and got a few more clicks out of it and got it cut. The next day, we was setting another pole, and he showed up, and there was 4 of us looking down in the hole. And he walked up, he was, what the hell's the problem now? I was like, we're watching pole foam rise. It was just disgusting. I was like, just wait till you look at my job jacket, because our whole career we had paper job jackets. Now it's on an iPad. Yeah. It's like, my job jacket's in the cooler because it overheated. I can't enter these transformer numbers, and we're not going to hang it until I can enter the numbers.
Technology.
At the ground.
Love it, right?
This guy was just, you think about that. You think about a guy that spent his whole life hand tamping and this. Anyway, it's pretty cool to see it from his point of view. He remained his composure, but he was in disbelief. We looked worthless to him. Yeah. This is just.
That's the way it goes, though, right? There's this period of time when technology is kind of changing that, we're going to look back and look at. It's actually crazy that we're going to look back at this time right now, as fast as it's going with AI and all that shit, and go, this is slow. This was slow. Remember when you had to type a prompt in and it's going to be fucking some humanoid that's sitting beside us, that's already got the answers to everything that you need, right?
It's going to be, something is going on. I think about this more than I should, but 400 years ago, for a few thousand years before that, nothing changed. They're still sharpening rocks and waiting on the Great Migration to eat this winter. We're living under.
Allegedly, that's what we know.
Yeah.
Who built the fucking pyramids? We still can't answer that question. So there might have been some technology before. Anyway.
Yeah, but I hunt arrowheads. That's something I love. I got so many arrowheads, it's nuts. But I think about, we went from sharpening rocks to where we're at now, just with everything. And I'm not talking about just bows and arrows, but technology and fighter jets. And we showed up here with rocks and dirt. Yeah. Now we got aircraft carriers and Milwaukee squeeze tools,
I interviewed Josh a few months ago, maybe a year ago now. And Josh is a Harrier pilot, the military.
That's a whole nother thing in there. That's amazing.
Every time I see a Harrier jet, it just doesn't make sense. Your brain just can't compute that this is an airplane just stagnant sitting there in the air like a helicopter with no blades. It blows your mind. And then he's talking about taking off and landing on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean, rising and falling 20 or 30 feet, and this thing that would come in and just
that sounds like some Avatar.
It blows your mind, man. Honestly,
I've never seen a Harrier jet in real life, only on TV.
Yeah, same. Well, social media or whatever, but I haven't seen one operate in real life either. But it's
where was that job opportunity? Right. Where did it? Don't remember that one.
But that's what I asked him. How did you even that's what was so interesting. It's how do you even get to that point? And those sorts of things are so interesting. And then I interviewed Shane Kimbrough. Shane, military veteran, commander, Apache commander or something like that. It was Apaches, I think. Anyway, worked his way into being able to become an astronaut and ends up over 365 days in space with, 36 hours of accumulated spacewalking time, like outside the International Space Station, with his big rubber gloves, just like us, working on shit outside the space station, right? I don't know. It's amazing people that do amazing things. And it all starts somewhere, like you kind of said, right?
He met the right people somewhere.
Yeah. Put all the things together. Yeah. Anyway, what's the future of Journeyman Gear?
Oh, man, that's a weird question. I'm never going to quit releasing tools.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to look. It may go so fast in the next 10 years that it may feel slow now. I don't know. That's what you hope for, to grow a company. I hope I don't get too big to not still be able to go chase storms. That's a weird thing to say. That may go against what the stock market wants to hear or something, but I will hire as much help as I have to make sure I can still do that. Like, it's part of my heart to want to load my tools on a truck and go do that.
I think that's an important component then. Like, and if that's something that means something to you, then you work that into, at least once a year. That's something you're doing.
Yeah.
Is sharpening your hooks and going on storms still, right?
Yeah. Hurricane and ice storm needs to be part of my life every year, for sure, with both of those. And just mentally, I miss my buddies. And the tools, it's easy. It won't be, it's not too hard to keep up with. I'm basically just, I always got prototypes I'm testing. And once I get one dialed in, I already have all the right people to make it. And that network's in place. And I already have all the right people to send it to get it out. Fortunately, I've earned the respect of enough guys in that world that I'll just text them or email them. I'm sending them something cool. Can't wait for you to see it. And it's like with arms wide open. They're pretty awesome about, man, we love this.
Yeah.
Do you care if we share it? But I also try to filter out stuff. There's a bunch of tools that I'm never going to release because it would just be, it's a tool that would get used once a month on a line crew or something. You want to release stuff that everybody can use. I've had a few specialty tools that only a utility is going to buy. Like, there's not a journeyman. Like, I used to manufacture jack pads for a while. Like, in my whole life, I've never bought a jack pad. You know what I mean? No. Never showed up with my own jack pad.
There's not a guy on storm just sitting there, I should really spend my money on a jack pad.
Yeah. I'm getting my own hydraulic tamp and a jack pad for Christmas. So I try to keep it where it catches the attention of guys like me. But I don't know what the future holds, man. There's dang sure not a business plan laid out to what I expect or don't expect. I'll just roll with it, and I'm pretty comfortable doing that. Do
you have a product or something that you're releasing soon that you can talk about?
Man, I got a brand new one in production right now that I'm fixing to start shipping out. It's a socket that puts in house knobs. It's something that we've fought forever, but it's a steel socket, 1/2-inch drive, a square, laser cut, powder coated. You can put the Milwaukee on that house knob now. The polymer house knobs.
Yeah.
So some years, no matter what you're doing, you'll go a whole year without installing 5 house knobs, and that's perfect. That's a perfect number to quit on.
And then you do 5 in one day.
And where my biggest problem started, Oklahoma City ice storm in 2020. When you go on a storm and you pull up to the laydown yard and everybody's grabbing what they think they need on a storm, 4 million number 4 automatics, cases of Gatorade, pole foam, cross arm braces. I remember I had a guy on my crew that threw a whole box of house knobs on the truck, and I remember I was like, Lord help us. If it was 100 probably, it was a box.
Yeah.
And the storeroom keeper had already cut the top out of, so they were perfectly stacked in there. I'm like, that's infinity house knobs. We used them all, dude. On that storm, it was a 1-month storm, and all those old houses were oak. It's like sawmill grade oak on the eaves, and every house knob was broke. And you go back lots, y'all fought it. Privacy fences, dog pens, broke down school buses, campers, swimming pools, every 100 foot.
Yep.
And trying to get new service to it, and you'd get in a rhythm. So I was going jerking a ladder over to the house, and we'd throw ropes over all the junk, pull new wire. Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure I beat 100's a low ball, but I beat 100. And what you're doing is you're just trying to get a dent to start. That way you can let go of it
without breaking it
and get your screwdriver in it. And I did that way too many times. Yeah, and you'll just knock the end of it through. So that box had a little polymer socket in it that come free. That went over the end. It lasted 1. the side split out and it just was gone. So I fixed that. That's a very simple tool. If you're a house knob guy, let that Milwaukee eat, if it's going.
Love that.
And like I said, I got a new corner pocket.
Oh, guys are going to love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to be satisfying too. Like so satisfying. Just like.
It is. I made a video and that's the part I showed. I don't have nothing else. It just is into a pole.
Yeah.
So simple fixes.
Yeah.
And on the manufacturing side, that's simple to make. That's warranty won't be a problem. You could put a jack down on that and it's not going to bend it. Anyway, I love simple fixes like that. That's about like the bit grip. Super simple something. Yeah. It's something people do every day. My ladder tools, the 2 rung racks, there's 2 tools that they attach to 2 different style ladders. It gives you somewhere to put your tools when you get up there, instead of holding stuff under your arm or leaving it in the gutter or leaving the squeeze tool 3/4 squeezed on so it'll stay there for a minute. Like, there's better ways now. That's what drives me, man, is to identify.
See, quick releases for that too.
I'm working on that. That'll get me. That's what I'm thinking about this evening.
Love it. Cool, buddy. Well, I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to chat about?
No, man. I'm thankful to be here. I appreciate you guys having me.
This content is completely free. All right. The only thing I'm asking you for is to hit that subscribe button. And I know it's cheesy. I know it's corny. I know every YouTuber asks you to hit that button and you're probably sick and tired of it. But if you like the show and you want to see the show grow, this is the way I prove to the people in charge that it's worth investing in. So it's pretty simple and it's the price you can pay for me. It's no money. It's just a subscribe. Please hit the subscribe and I appreciate the heck out of you for it.